Happy Friday, everybody. We are back. Yes, football is just around the corner. A lot of these teams start their fall camps next month. Some of them, I think, maybe start next week, right before August 1st, but I'm not sure. But I have heard a couple, but we'll see. Anyway, got bored with the old name, so I changed the name. New name of the page and Twitter handle and all that. Saturday Afternoon Slate. Seemed to be a lot better than BCBS College Sports, whatever I had it before. Anyway, I was just kind of getting bored with the old name, so I figured I'd switch it up, do something different. Hope you've had a great summer. I did some work. I worked, but also took a few days off for vacation here and there. Had a good 4th of July. Hope you did too. Like we said, football. It's here. Media days have been going on the last few weeks. Watched a little bit of them. Saw some of the SEC. Saw some of the Big Ten. Really, that's about it because I've been so busy doing other things. So we start now each week. Conference previews. Each week we'll do usually about three conference previews each week, all the way up until that first weekend of football season. You know, the one they call Week 0, which is totally stupid. Should be Week 1. All those games count. I've said that before. Anyway, so today, starting it off, we're going to be doing the AAC, American Athletic Conference, with just announced they're changing their name to the American Conference. And they even got a little eagle as a mascot. His name is Soar, I think it is. Anyway, so the AAC is now the American Conference. ACC and Big Ten, we'll be previewing those. Going over some coaching changes. Got a lot of news to get to on this first show of the college sports season. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Florida State quarterback, Tommy Castellanos, he transferred in from Boston College. He said Alabama doesn't have Saban to save them from the Seminoles in game 1. Says he doesn't regret saying that. I, for one, am not into arrogant people. Athletes, friends, family, whatnot. If you're arrogant, I think a lot less of you. So, Alabama, defense. Let's see this guy laying on his back most of the game, all right? Shut him up. Like I said, arrogant people get on my damn nerves. Some people love it, trash talking and all that. I don't know. I just never been into it because you never know when you're going to have to eat your foot. How many athletes and friends, you may have had friends or family that talk crap and the opposite happens and they're nowhere to be found or they're apologizing, eating their foot, like we say. So, defense, Alabama, get to it. Northwestern quarterback Jack Lausch, he's left the team to focus on baseball. He's going to go the baseball route. Had he stayed, he more than about likely would have been back up to SMU transfer Preston Stone. So he decided to do a career change, go towards baseball. Georgia Tech, they have given offensive coordinator Buster Falcon a new deal that will make him one of the top 10 highest paid assistant coaches in the country, for college, that is. $1.5 million, not bad for an OC. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips said all teams will produce an availability report 48 hours before the game. They'll address things like whether the certain athlete is available, questionable, doubtful, or out. So they're going to do that 48 hours before the game. Santa Clara, they give their basketball coach Herb Sandock an extension through 2030. We just mentioned it. AAC, American Athletic Conference, changed their name to American Conference. So it is Soar the Eagle. He is their new mascot. Missouri gives Eli Drinkowitz, how do you say his name? Drinkowitz. Anyway, he got an extension through 2029. I like what he's doing there. Again, trash talk. Don't ever give your opponent fuel to the fire. Like I said, I don't care if it's the other team, friend, family, some rival who's trying to get your girlfriend. Don't give them any fuel for the fire. LSU head coach Brian Kelly calls Tiger Stadium the real Death Valley. Clemson Memorial Stadium is Death Valley Junior. Says all this before their first game where they go to Clemson to play. And we've seen how LSU's done in their first game the last several years. So, giving Clemson Tigers fuel to their fire. All right, so this crazy story I just saw, this thing just came out like in the last couple of days. Former Memphis defensive back Taj Rael, before the Memphis UTSA game last year, He sent UTSA quarterback Owen McCown the Tigers playbook before the game. Taj had actually entered the transfer portal a month before they played UTSA. Telling him which DBs to throw to, which DBs were slow and couldn't run, defensive signals. UTSA did win that game by 6, but at the American Conference media days, Owen McCown was questioned about that. He said the info was really kind of irrelevant to the game, and they only won by 6, so you kind of got to believe him that they really didn't use that info. So American Conference commissioner said they're looking into that stuff, but they really don't know what they can do about it. But anyway, that's how it goes. All right, so first step, coaching changes. In case you didn't know or in case you need a refresher, Neil Brown out at West Virginia didn't do all that good. But Rich Rod, remember Rich Rodriguez? He was there at West Virginia several years ago, came close to getting into the 2007 National Championship game. Left, went to Michigan, didn't go so well. Recently, in the last couple of years, been at Jacksonville State, did a hell of a job there. He's coming back to West Virginia to try to get some Mountaineer magic going again, and boy, did they need it. North Carolina, out, Mac Brown, in, Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, evidently. That's all people talk about when they talk about North Carolina football. Always got to put Bill Belichick's girlfriend in there also. Purdue, Ryan Walters is out, which he's actually, if I remember right, he went to Washington to be their defensive coordinator, I think. Anyway, Barry Odom, he comes in from UNLV, seen what he's done there the last couple of years. He won a school record 19 games in the last 2 seasons there at UNLV. Let's see. We just talked about UNLV. Out, Barry Odom went to Purdue. Dan Mullen. Remember Dan Mullen? Of course you do. You've seen him on ESPN. He was the former Florida coach, former Mississippi State coach. Coming back into coaching, he's going to go over there to UNLV. Wake Forest, Dave Clawson is out. In is Jake Durkert, who was the Washington State head coach, going from Pullman all the way over there to, where's Wake Forest? Raleigh? Wake Forest and Raleigh, I think. Charlotte, out. Biff Pudgy, he is out. In, Tim Allen, was the Ohio head coach. He's the first MAC coach to win 10 games in 3 consecutive seasons since Marshall's Bobby Pruitt did in 97 through 99. I think that 97 through 99 team, those teams had quarterback Chad Pennington. I think Randy Moss was on those teams. So hell of a game, hell of a time he did, hell of a thing he did over there. Ohio, he's going to go to Charlotte and try it there. UMass, Don Brown is out. In is Joe Haysmack, Rutgers defensive coordinator. I did not know this until I read this. UMass, 13th year in the FBS. They've never won 5 games in a season since they joined the FBS 13 years ago. That's crazy. You figure they would have at least gone to a bowl, but I don't know. Southern Miss, out Will Hall. In is Charles Huff. He was the Marshall's head coach. Won the Sun Belt, could not come to an agreement with Marshall over his contract. So he said, screw you, I'm leaving. He left Marshall. Went to Southern Miss, though. That one I got a question because Southern Miss is at the bottom of the conference. Marshall's a hell of a lot better. I think I would have stayed and tried to get something worked out even better, or even maybe get something worked out. Because, man, going to Southern Miss, that is like that's the black hole of football right now. I'm sorry there's Southern Miss fans. It really is. Baseball team is awesome, but your football team kind of in the black hole right now. Anyway, Utah State. Out Nate Dreeling. In, Bronco Mendenhall. He was the New Mexico head coach. When he was at BYU, he was 99-11. Left for Virginia. Took Virginia Cavaliers to 3 bowls in 6 years. Last year, he actually, remember we talked about this last year, led New Mexico to 5-7, their best record in 9 years. But those guys, there's quite a few games they dominated, and in the fourth quarter, that was it. They were out. They gave up. Very, very close to being a bowl team. Probably one of the best teams with a losing record last year. They just couldn't finish games. But anyway, Bronco Mendenhall going to Utah State. Out at Central Florida, Gus Malzahn. He's going to be the new Florida State offensive coordinator. Scott Frost is back. Remember Scott Frost? Took them undefeated several years ago. Went to his alma mater, Nebraska, trying to fix that one back up. Didn't work out. Well, now he's back in Central Florida to see if he can recreate some of that magic because Nebraska. I I thought he was going to do a hell of a job in Nebraska. I mean, alumni, great football player, coming back home to his team. Man, it just didn't work out. But anyway, hey, Central Florida, happy to have him back. Washington State, Jake Dickett, he's out. And Jimmy Rogers, South Dakota State head coach, going to Washington State. 27-3 in 2 seasons at South Dakota State, won the national championship. Now he's going to see how he can do there. Big time. But South Dakota State, though, when you think about them and North Dakota State and some others, they're big time too. They're just in the FCS. Ohio, out Tim Albin. We talked about. He went to Charlotte. He's the head coach there. Brian Smith, he was the OC at Ohio. He got promoted to head coach. Florida Atlantic, Tom Herman out. I don't understand what happened to Tom Herman. He was down the road here in Houston. Hell of a job. Went to the Peach Bowl. I think they beat Florida State in the Peach Bowl. He was the hot name. Everybody wanted. LSU was looking for a coach. A&M was looking for a coach. Texas was looking for a coach. Went to Texas. Didn't work out. Went to Florida Atlantic. Ended up at Florida Atlantic. Didn't work out. And now he's going to try, or now he's out at Florida Atlantic. He's another one that's very arrogant. Whenever I listen to sports talk in Houston, reporters would ask him a question. He'd kind of attack him over the question. Them and the reporters would get into it on the radio. So, never really been a fan of his. Even, I don't know. I've just never been a fan of the guy. Anyway, Zach Kittley, Texas Tech offensive coordinator. He's a new coach at FAU. Had Texas Tech in the top 10 total offense, scoring, and first downs. So we'll see what he can do at FAU. his first coaching job, I guess. Appalachian State, Sean Clark is out. Went 40-24 in 5 years. First losing season last year. Fired him. Sometimes you don't just understand why things are done. They are, but anyway. Dow Logans, South Carolina OC. He's going to be the new head coach for App State. Florida International out Mike McIntyre. In Willie Simmons, Duke's running back coach, and former Florida A&M head coach where he won the SWAC championship. Fresno State's Tim Skipper's out. In is Mac Ince, USC linebackers coach. He actually left North Dakota State when he won 2 national championships there in 5 years to go to USC. I don't know. The state USC is in, I probably would have stayed at North Dakota State, but that's just me. But also money. I mean, me included, probably a lot of you, your company's competitors said, hey, come over here and we'll pay you more than what they're paying you. We're going to do it. So, in a way, I understand, but in a way, it kind of puzzles your mind. Kennesaw State, Brian Bohannon is out. Jerry Mack is in. He is the Jacksonville Jaguars, or was Jacksonville Jaguars, running backs coach. Rice, Mike Bloomgren, he is out. I really thought it would work because Rice is a private school, and Bloomgren came from Stanford, where he coached under David Shaw, and you saw the success that Stanford had under that regime. So I really thought he could come here with Rice, know how to do it, but just didn't work out for whatever reason. Scott Abell, Davidson head coach, he is in. He's the school's all-time winningest coach, 47 wins. Jacksonville State, we talked about Rich Rod, left, went to back to West Virginia. Charles Kelly in. He's Auburn's co-offensive coordinator. Co-offensive or co-defense. I think it says, can't read my writing sometimes. Anyway, he was assistant coach. Sorry, Auburn fans, but it's probably best he got out of Auburn. I don't know what's going on there. It's kind of a dumpster fire right now. So, it'll get better, though. Don't worry. East Carolina, out Mike Houston, in Blake Harrell. He was promoted from defensive coordinator. Pirates went 5-1 when he took over last year after they got rid of Mike Houston. Marshall, talked about Charles Huff. He got pissed off with the Southern Miss. Tony Gibson, NC State's defensive coordinator. He's a West Virginia native, too, so he knows the state. Sam Houston, Casey, another one that's kind of scratching your head. Casey Keller left, went to Temple. I know you want a head coach job in the big time, but some of these you got to question. Why wouldn't you just wait? But Anyway, Ian Philip Lungo, he was Wisconsin's defensive coordinator. He got fired in November. Sam Houston hired him as head coach. Central Michigan, Jim McElwain, remember him? Took Florida to SEC championship game. Did he win? I don't remember if he won the SEC championship while at Florida, but I know he went there. Didn't work out. Left Florida, went to Central Michigan. Didn't work out. So they brought in Mike Drinkall, Army offensive coordinator. Remember Army? They've had some good offensive teams the last couple of years. Temple out Stan Drayton in Casey Keeler. We talked about from Sam Houston. We talked about New Mexico. Brandon Mendenhall left to go to Utah State. They brought in Jason Eck. Who's that, you might say? Idaho head coach who has taken Idaho to the playoffs in the last few years. Idaho Vandals, remember? They were FBS, and they decided it'd be best to drop down to FCS. Well, they've been pretty damn good in FCS the last several years. Took them to 3 consecutive FCS playoffs, 26 wins while he was the head coach at Idaho. So this is probably, New Mexico's probably a good place to start for him. Not a great team, but not a bad team. You want to coach FBS, probably a good place to get your foot wet. Like I said, they were good last year. They should have gone to a bowl game. They just couldn't finish. Maybe he can get them to finish and get to a bowl game. We'll see. Ball State out Mike Nev in Mike, how do you say his name? Arumovich. Butler head coach, 23-11 in 3 years of Butler. Tulsa out Kelvin Wilson in Trey Lamb. Eastern Tennessee State's head coach. Tulsa has had 1 winning season since 2012. I wasn't aware of that because I've seen a few of their games. I thought they were a lot better than that, but 1 winning season since 2012. And then Kent State, out Kenny Burns, fired in April for some crazy stuff. In came Mark Carney. He's the interim coach right now. We'll see what they're going to do there. All right, so used to be the AAC, now it's the American Conference. Navy midshipmen. Last year, 10-3, 6-2. They had never won their conference. Beat OU in the Armed Forces Bowl, though, so that's a good thing on them. Let's see. What do I got here? 8 starters on offense returning. Pretty damn good, including quarterback break. Before we start this takes a while, so I started it pretty much right after the College World Series ended. I tried to go through and make sure all the late transfers, I took them out of their team. Maybe still a few left in there I missed. So if I say, hey, this is so-and-so's coming back, and you're like, no, he's not, he transferred, that's why. Like I said, I started this late while back. I tried to get most of these guys that transferred out off the team, but I may have missed a few. So got me a break. It's a lot of work. Anyway, Blake Harbaugh coming back from Navy, rushed for 124 yards, 17 touchdowns last year. Passed for 1,353 and 12 touchdowns also. Only 3 starters on defense returning. Kirkwood, he returns as a kicker. Non-conference, VMI, which I really have not heard much about the program, so that could be a win for him. Air Force, Notre Dame. There you go. Tulane Green Wave, 9-7, 7-1. Lost to Army in the conference championship game. Went on an 8-game win streak last season. Last time they won the conference was back in 2022. Lost to Florida, Gasparilla Bowl. 2 on offense, coming back, 3 on defense. Starters, you can really see this transfer portal whole shenanigan thing really taking effect because the past years, a lot of these teams, you would see, you'd have teams that lost a lot like Tulane, 2 on offense, 3 on defense. But a lot of teams, the majority of teams, usually had 5 or more starters coming back on offense or defense. That's not like that anymore. This transfer portal has really sucked these teams dry. So a lot of these teams, starters coming back, they did load up to the transfer portal, though, so they got some good players in there. Non-conference, Northwestern, South Alabama, Duke, and Ole Miss. Memphis Tigers, just talked about them. Remember one of their guys gave UTSA some play signals. I don't know if it helped. 11-2, 6-2, beat West Virginia in the Frisco Bowl. That's probably what did Neil Brown in. 2019, that's the last time they won a conference title. 2 on offense, 1 on defense coming back. Did get quarterback Brandon Lewis from Nevada, where he had 2,290 passing yards and 16 touchdowns. Non-conference includes Chattanooga, Georgia State, Troy, and Arkansas. Army Black Knights, 12-2, 8-0, won the conference. Beat La Tech in the Independence Bowl. Marshall was supposed to play in that game, but they had a massive exit of transfers when the coach and the school could not come to a agreement over a contract, and he left. They had a mass exodus, so they just decided not to go to the Independence Bowl. La Tech went in their place and lost. 4 on offense, 5 on defense, punter. They need to replace the stellar backfield they had. Bryson Daly and Kane Udall. That's how you say his name, Udall? Combined for 2,776 of Army's 4,200 yards last season. Non-conference, Tarleton State, Kansas State, Air Force. South Florida Bulls, 7-6, 4-4, beat San Jose State, got it, in the Hawaii Bowl. They've never won the conference title. But listen to this, 7 on offense, 6 on defense coming back. That ain't too bad. 2 good quarterbacks, Brian Brown, he returns from injury. Back up Bryce Archie, who took over for him 5 games last year. Both good guys. They're coming back. Non-conference, Boise State, Florida, Miami, South Carolina State. Damn. UTSA Roadrunners, they were mixed in with that Memphis crap. 7-6, 4-4, beat Coastal Carolina in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Last conference title, 2022 in the Conference USA when they were there. 8 on offense. Woo, look at that. But 0 defense starters. Punter comes back. The punter comes back. That's important. Offense will look good. Owen McCown's back. We just talked. 2,634 passing yards. 25 touchdowns last year. Also ran for 340. Robert Henry Jr. and Brandon High, they return in the backfield. They combined for 1,200 yards rushing. 3 top wide receivers return. Defense, though, that's the big question. Did they get enough people through the portal? Did they get enough good recruits for that defense? Non-conference, Texas A&M, Texas State, Incarnate Word, Colorado State. I think Incarnate Word, that's pretty much an I-35 battle there because San Antonio and, they're both in San Antonio. So, no, it wouldn't be an I-35 battle. They're both in San Antonio. I forget the name of that road that connects the two. Anyway, about 2 or 3 mile battle. East Carolina Pirates, 8-5, 5-3, beat NC State in the Military Bowl. Last conference title, 2009 Conference USA. 1 offense, 1 defense, and the kicker coming back. Kate Housen, quarterback, he returns. 18 touchdowns, but he did throw 11 interceptions last year. Non-conference, NC State, Campbell, Coastal Carolina, BYU. UAB Blazers, 3-9, 2-6. Won their first game last year. Then went on a 6-game losing streak. Last conference title, 2020. 2 on offense, 1 on defense, kicker and punter. Quarterback Jalen Kittner returns 2,209 yards, 17 touchdowns. He did throw 11 interceptions, but hey. He was kind of turnover prone because he had some fumbles too. Non-conference, Alabama State, Akron, Tennessee, and UConn. North Texas, Mean Green, 6-7, 3-5. Lost to Texas State in the First Responder Bowl. Last time they won the conference title was big in the Sun Belt, 2004. 2 on offense, 2 on defense, kicker and punter. Brought in 40 new players this year through the transfer portal. See how that works out. Non-conference, Lamar, Western Michigan, Washington State, South Alabama. Their last winning season North Texas had was 2018. Florida Atlantic got rid of Tom Herman. He went 3-9, 1-7. Lost the conference to last conference title. I'm sorry, the last conference title, 2019 Conference USA. Last winning season, 2020. That's probably why they got rid of Herman. 2 on offense, 1 on defense, punter coming back. Only returning our offensive starters are the right tackle and the right guard. Everybody else is going to be new. Non-conference, Maryland, Florida A&M, FIU, and UConn. Rice Owls, 4-8, 3-5. Last conference title, 2013 in Conference USA. Went to a bowl game 2 years ago. Ain't done nothing since. 2 on offense, 2 on defense, the punter. This year, though, they did say they're moving from a West Coast offense to a spread attack. One of the returning offensive starters is wide receiver Braylon Walker. He's a junior. He's pretty damn good. Non-conference, though, Louisiana, crosstown rival Houston, right up the road, Prairie View A&M, and UConn. Temple, 3-9, 2-6. Last conference title, 2016. Last bowl game, 2019. 4 on offense, 3 on defense. The punter, quarterback senior Evan Simmons, he returns 2,000 passing yards and 15 touchdowns, so not too bad. Did throw 9 interceptions. But they did bring in quarterback Giovanni McCoy. Damn good quarterback in Idaho. Threw for almost 6,000 yards and 43 touchdowns. So they brought him in. See what he can do there. Maybe he can prove things. Non-conference, UMass, Howard, Oklahoma, and Georgia Tech. So, not too good for them. Charlotte 49ers, 5-7, 4-4. Never won a conference title. Last bowl game they went to was 2019. 1 on offense, 2 on defense. Senior middle linebacker Reed Williford, he returns. He had 77 tackles last season. Non-conference, App State, UNC, Monmouth, and Georgia. Man, Tar Heels and Bulldogs on that schedule. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Tulsa, 3-9, 1-7. Last time they won the conference title, 2012 Conference USA. Last bowl game, 2021. 1 on offense, 1 on defense, punter. Quarterback Kirk Francis returns. He was injured last year. Returning starter, junior nose tackle Ty Newhouse. 32 tackles last season. He's coming back too. All right, so some of the big games in this conference. September 6th, South Florida at Florida, interstate rivalry. Really good one. September 20th, Tulane at Ole Miss. Tulane should have won last year that game. They really should have. Mistakes cost them, though, so they lost. But this time they go to Oxford. Another good one, October 18th, Army at Tulane. Rematch of the ACC title game, which is now American Conference. November 7th, Tulane at Memphis. 11-8. Navy at Notre Dame. That'll be pretty good. And then a couple weeks later, November 27th, Navy at Memphis. And then, of course, the annual Army-Navy game on December 13th. All right, ACC now. Clemson Tigers, 10-4, 7-1 last year. Won the ACC championship. Lost first round CFP to Texas. First game at Georgia. Georgia won by 31. We all saw how that went. 8 on offense, 5 on defense. A kicker. Not too bad, especially offense. Offense should look really good this year. Kate Klubnik, he's back in quarterback, 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, ran for 7 touchdowns also. Non-conference, we talked about LSU first game. Brian Kelly's already dissed in Memorial Stadium. Troy Furman on November 22nd. I don't know the deals with the SEC. I mean, my Aggies do it too. They always schedule a cream puff in the middle of November. Never at the beginning of the season, always at the end. So I don't know what goes on there, but evidently Clemson's doing it too. And then they play South Carolina. Miami Hurricanes, 10-3, 6-2. Lost the Pop-Tarts Bowl to Iowa State. Last conference title, 2003 in the Big East. I didn't realize that. I thought they had won a conference title sometime in the last 10 years, but I guess since joining the ACC. 3 on offense, 4 on defense. They got quarterback Carson Beck from Georgia. That's really, really big for them. And wide receiver CJ Daniels from LSU. So they got 2 big-time weapons right there off the bat. Miami, remember last year? 9-0. Then they went on that 1-3 losing streak. Lost to Syracuse and a couple others. Yeah, they started off great. Oh, well. 3 straight years, though. They had folded at the end of the season. That's just crazy. Non-conference, Notre Dame, Bethune Cookman, South Florida, and Florida. SMU Mustangs, 11-3, 8-0, lost the ACC championship game to Clemson, lost in the first round of the CFP to Penn State. Last conference title, 2023, in the AAC, which is now American Conference. 5 on offense, 2 on defense, kicker. Junior quarterback Kevin Jennings, projected to be the full-time starter. Of course, you got to go through fall camp to find that out for sure. Non-conference, East Texas A&M, Baylor is supposed to be much improved this year, really good. Missouri State and TCU. Louisville Cardinals, 9-4, 5-3, beat Washington in the Sun Bowl. Last conference title for them, though, was in the Big East 2012. 4 on offense, 3 on defense. Senior quarterback Miller Moss transfers from USC, going to Louisville. Senior linebacker TJ Quinn returns, 82 tackles last year. 82 tackles last year, as does junior Stanton Clark. He had 76 tackles for the Cardinals last year. Non-conference, Eastern Kentucky, James Madison, Bowling Green, and their last game against rival Kentucky. FSU Seminoles, quarterback talking crap. 2-10, 1-7. Lost the first 3 games, won the fourth, lost the next 6 last year. Last conference title, 2023. 0 on offense, 3 on defense. And Gus Malzahn, the new OC, what are you going to do with this? First thing you do is shut your quarterback up. Non-conference, Alabama, Eastern Texas A&M, Kent State, and Florida. Pitt Panthers, 7-6, 3-5. Lost the Game Above Sports Bowl to Toledo. Last conference title in the Big East, 2010. That's kind of a little theme here. A lot of these teams that are in the Big East, they haven't won a conference since joining the ACC. That's crazy. But hey, listen to this, man. 7 on offense, 7 on defense, and the punter coming back. 7 on both sides of the ball. That's pretty damn good. Sophomore quarterback Eli Holstein returns, 2,200 yards last year, 328 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. That's a big thing for them. Pitt started out 7-0 last year. Lost the last 5 in their bowl game. They got to learn how to finish the season. Non-conference, Duquesne, Central Michigan, West Virginia, and Notre Dame on that schedule. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, man, they just keep getting better every year. 7-6, 5-3. Lost the Birmingham Bowl, though, to Vanderbilt. Last conference title, 2009. 5 on offense, 4 on defense. The kicker, senior quarterback Haynes Kings returns, 14 passing touchdowns, 11 rushing touchdowns. Junior linebacker Kyle Alford returns, 64 tackles. Had a lot of injuries last season that probably kept them from a few wins. Still won 7 games, though, so still above 500. Non-conference, Colorado, that could be interesting. Remember, 1990, Colorado, Georgia Tech, they split the national championship. UPI voted one way, AP voted the other way. Both were crowned national champions. Just a little history tidbit there. Gardner-Webb, Temple, and Georgia. Probably going to be the last game, I would imagine. Duke Blue Devils, 9-4, 5-3. Lost to Ole Miss in the Gator Bowl. Last conference title, 1989. Do you know who the member of this coach was? The old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, right before he went to Florida. 5 on offense, 6 on defense, kicker, punter. Sophomore quarterback Darian Mensah from Tulane. Nice. 2,723 yards last year, 22 touchdowns. Like to see what he's going to do there at Duke. Duke defense last year led the ACC in sacks, 43, and 19 forced fumbles. And they got 6 guys coming back on defense. So I would expect they're probably going to be pretty good again. Non-conference, Illinois, and then Tulane back-to-back. And then UConn. Syracuse Orangemen, 10-3, 5-3, beat Washington State in the Holiday Bowl. Last conference title, again, Big East, 2004. But 1 on offense, 3 on defense, and the punter coming back. So, and they got Tennessee, UConn, Colgate, which they should win, and Notre Dame. So, UNC Tar Heels, Bill Belichick and his girlfriend are the new head coaches. 6-7, 3-5 last year. Lost Fenway Bowl to UConn. Last conference title, 1980, which I found that hard to believe because when Mack Brown was there in the mid to late 90s, he kicked ass there. I could have sworn he won a ACC title there, but I guess not. 4 on offense, 2 on defense, punter. Will his girlfriend be a distraction all year long? Don't tell me she's going to be down there on the sidelines. If she's down there on the sidelines, that's going to be it. They're done. He did bring in South Alabama quarterback Gio Lopez, threw for over 2,500 yards, ran for 465, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Max Johnson, he's also back after injury. Steve Belichick, he is the DC. Non-conference, TCU, Charlotte, Richmond, Central Florida. North Carolina State Wolfpack, 6-7, 3-5. Lost the Military Bowl to East Carolina. Last conference title, 1979. 6 on offense, 4 on defense, kicker and the punter. Sophomore quarterback C.J. Bailey returns. Started 9 games last year, over 2,400 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Ran for 279 and 3 touchdowns. Senior linebacker Sean Brown returns, 96 tackles. Hell of a year for him. Non-conference, East Carolina, Campbell, Notre Dame. Virginia Tech Hokies, 6-7, 4-4. Lost the Duke's Mayo Bowl to Minnesota. Last conference title, 2010. I think they were in the ACC by then. So there may be one team that came from the Big East and already won an ACC title. 2 on offense, 3 on defense. Kicker, senior quarterback Kyron Drones returns from injury. Since Bud Foster, remember that longtime defensive coach Bud Foster, all those damn good defenses he had? Since he retired in 2019, Virginia Tech has had 3 defensive coordinators in 6 years. They just can't find anybody to match that guy. Non-conference, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Old Dominion, and Wofford. Boston College Eagles, 7-6, 4-4. Lost the Pinstripe Bowl to Nebraska. Last conference title, Big East, 2004. 4 on offense, 5 on defense. Senior wide receiver Lewis Bond and sophomore wide receiver Reed Harrison returned. Castellanos, whatever the hell his name is, went to FSU. He's not there anymore. Good secondary. They got a good secondary this year, including junior safety KP Price, 85 tackles and 2 pickoffs last year. Nice. Non-conference, Fordham, Michigan State, UConn, Notre Dame. Wake Forest Demon Deacons, 4-8, 2-6. Went 4-4, then lost the last 4 games. Last conference title, 2006. 2 on offense, 5 on defense. Kicker coming back. Senior running back Damon Claiborne, he returns. Over 1,000-yard rusher. Also had 23 receptions, 13 touchdowns. Senior safety Nick Anderson, he returns. 122 tackles last year for Nick Anderson. That's incredible. Defense, though, did give up 33 points a game. That's something they're going to have to work on this year. Non-conference, Kennesaw State, West Carolina, Oregon State, and Delaware. Virginia Cavaliers, 5-7, 3-5. They started 4-2, looked good, finished 1-5. Last conference title, 1995. Anybody guess who the head coach was? Give you a little history lesson. George Welsh. 2 on offense, 4 on defense, kicker and the punter. Still remember that Thursday night game, 95, Virginia versus Florida State. Florida State was on top of the world back then. They had it 4th and goal. Warwick Dunn tried to go right. The Seminole running back, Warwick Dunn, who y'all don't know him, he's a badass running back for Florida State. Boom, stopped right at the line by Virginia defense. I remember on Thursday night, and you know how they party in college on Thursday night? I guarantee Charlottesville, I guarantee there's drinking in the streets until 6 a.m. Totally incredible game. Just totally incredible game and performance. Anyway, last conference title, 1995. George Welsh was the head coach. 2 on offense, 4 on defense, kicker and the punter. Chandler Moore, senior quarterback, transferred in from North Texas. Last year, he was top 10 in yards and touchdowns, even North Texas wasn't all that good. Front of the defense is good. Secondary is going to be questionable for Virginia. Non-conference, Coastal Carolina, William & Mary, and then Washington State. Stanford, 3-9, 2-6. Stanford started 2-1, lost the next 6. Last conference title was for the Pac-12 in 2015. But, hey, 5 on offense, 5 on defense, your kicker and punter all coming back. Things are probably going to be looking up for them. Stanford, they do have 4 3-9 seasons in a row. That is not good. Non-conference doesn't look too good either. Hawaii, BYU, San Jose State, and Notre Dame. And then Cal, Golden Bears, man. Next to Mexico, they're probably the best, not-so-good team because they really should have won some games. Should have beat Miami. 6-7, 2-6, lost the LA Bowl to UNLV. Last conference title, Pac-12, 2006. Like I said, they could have gone 11-1 very easily last year. Lost to FSU by 5, Miami by 1, Pitt by 2, NC State by 1, and Syracuse by 9. Lost to Florida State by 5, Miami by 1, Pitt by 2, NC State by 1, Syracuse by 9. Like I said, could have been easily 11-1 last year. A lot of players did transfer out, though. So they 1 on offense, coming back, 4 on defense. Non-conference, tough but manageable. Oregon State, TSU from down the road in Houston, which is an FCS school, Minnesota, and San Diego State. All right, so some of the big games. August 30th, Alabama, Florida State. The Alabama defense, they're pissed. Same night, LSU, Clemson. Same night, Tennessee at Syracuse. 8:31, Notre Dame at Miami. September 1st, TCU at North Carolina. Bill Belichick's first game. September 6th, Illinois at Duke. September 13th, Clemson at Georgia Tech. Klubnik versus King, going to be a great quarterback battle on that one. Whichever defense steps up and stops that's going to be the winner. September 20th, Florida at Miami. I'm sorry, I don't have my water, so my throat's getting dry. Florida at Miami, that's been a pretty good game sometimes. September 20th, North Carolina at Central Florida. Scott Frost back there. Clemson at North Carolina on October 4th. Same on October 4th, that big rivalry that's kind of legendary. Miami at Florida State. Used to be a pretty classic battle, but the last several years that just hasn't had what it used to have all those years ago. Still a good game, though. October 17th, Louisville, Miami. That's going to be a Friday night fight. The 18th, SMU at Clemson, ACC title rematch. Halloween, North Carolina at Syracuse. November 1st, Miami at SMU, Duke at Clemson. November 8th, Florida State at Clemson. November 14th, Clemson at Louisville. November 22nd, Duke at UNC. November 28th, Georgia at Georgia Tech. That's always an entertaining game. And then November 29th, Florida State at Florida. And you also got Clemson at South Carolina. All right, last conference we're going to do today, Big Ten. Penn State Nittany Lions, 13-3, 8-1, lost Big Ten championship game to Oregon, but went to the CFP anyway. Beat SMU in the first round, beat Boise State in the quarterfinals, which I didn't think they were going to be able to do that, but they did. In the Fiesta Bowl, lost CFP semifinals to Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl. Last conference title they won was 2016. Defensive coordinator Jim Knowles comes over from Ohio State. 7 offense, 6 on defense, kicker and punter returning. They're looking pretty damn good. Drew Aller's back. Picking up the wide receiver from the transfer portal, combined for 23 touchdowns. For some reason, I didn't write his name down. That's how stupid of me. Anyway, non-conference, Nevada, FIU, Villanova. They do have a rematch with Oregon, and they go to Ohio State this year. So, Ohio State Buckeyes, 14-2, 7-2, beat Tennessee in the first round CFP, beat Oregon in the quarters, beat Texas in the semis, beat Notre Dame in the national championship game. Last time they won the conference, 2020. That's crazy. It's been, I figure it's just the last couple of years, but 4 on offense, 3 on defense, kicker and punter. Former Alabama quarterback Julian Sam takes over. Wide receivers Jeremiah Smith, Cornell Tate, and Brandon Niss return to help. D-line. Buckeye D-line is going to be new. Experienced linebackers and secondary, though, so that should help them out. Non-conference, that first game, Texas, man, that's going to be a big one. Grambling, Ohio, and their nemesis of late, Michigan, they go to Ann Arbor this year. Oregon Ducks, 13-1, 9-0, beat Penn State in the Big Ten championship game. Lost the CFP quarterfinals to Ohio State. 2 on offense, 3 on defense, kicker and a punter. New quarterback, sophomore, Dante Moore. He comes in from UCLA. Defense is mostly new guys for Oregon. Non-conference, Montana State was a hell of an FCS playoff team. Oklahoma State, which I don't know what Oklahoma State's problem is the last couple of years. And Oregon State, their Civil War rivalry game. Michigan, 8-5, 5-4, beat Alabama in the ReliaQuest Bowl. Last conference title, 2023. 4 on offense, 6 on defense, and a kicker. Freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood. He comes with a lot of hype, so we'll just have to see about that. Defense loses 4 great players to the NFL. Secondary is kind of questionable this year for Michigan. Non-conference, New Mexico, to Oklahoma. They go to Norman like the second week of the season, second or third week. That should be a damn good game. And then Central Michigan, who seems to play all the top teams in the Big Ten. Illinois fighting the Illini, 10-6, 6-3, beat South Carolina in the Citrus Bowl. Last conference title, 2001. Wasn't Kirk Kitna, wasn't he the quarterback in 2001 for Illinois when they went to the Sugar Bowl? If I remember right, they went to the Sugar Bowl and lost to LSU in 2001. If I remember right. When you get old like me, you tend to forget stuff. 9 on offense, 7 on defense. That is a hell of a returning crew there. And your kicker. Senior quarterback Luke Allmeyer, junior running back Adrian Lahi, sophomore wide receiver Colin Dixon, all return. Lots of transfers on the D-line, though. Veteran linebackers coming, secondary, so you should be all right on defense. Just get the defensive line figured out. Western Illinois, Duke, Western Michigan is their non-conference. Nebraska, 7-6, 3-6. Beat Boston College in the Pinstripe Bowl. Last conference title, anybody? Big 12, 1999. I think they beat Texas that year. Did they? No, wait. They either beat Texas or Texas A&M. I forget. Anyway, 4 on offense, 5 on defense. Sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola. I think that's how you say his name. He returns. Wide receiver Dane Kay. He comes over from Kentucky. He had 14 touchdowns there at Kentucky. Non-conference, Cincinnati, Akron, Houston Christian. USC Trojans, 7-6, 4-5. A lot of people, a lot of heat on Lincoln Riley. Beat Texas A&M in the Las Vegas Bowl. Last conference title, Pac-12 2017. 6 on offense, 2 on defense. Junior college transfer, running back, Wayman Jordan from Hutchinson College, wherever Hutchinson College is. 1,600 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. He transfers to USC. Veteran linebacker Eric Gentry, he returns from injury. Missouri State, Georgia Southern, Notre Dame. That's their non-conference. Washington Huskies, 6-7, 4-5. Lost the Sun Bowl to Louisville. Last conference title, 2023. 4 on offense, 1 on defense, a kicker. Former Purdue head coach, like we talked about, Ryan Walters, new defensive coordinator. He's a hell of a defensive coach. Their non-conference is Colorado State, UC Davis, and Apple Cup, Washington State. Indiana Hoosiers, remember them? They were all the talk for most of the year. 11-2, 8-1, but they did lose CFP first round game to Notre Dame. 4 on offense coming back, 4 on defense. I mean, it's not horrible, but and your kicker's coming back. Junior quarterback Fernando Mendoza transfers in from Cal. Defense in Mikhail Kamara, top pass rusher, and had double-digit sacks last year. He comes back for Indiana. Non-conference, Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. Iowa Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz, man, 27 years of the head coach there, 30 plus because he's coaching under Hayden Fry. 8-5, 6-3, lost to Missouri, Music City Bowl. Last conference title though, 2004. Wow. 5 on offense, 5 on defense, kicker and punter, so not bad there. Coming back for him. Here's the kicker. South Dakota State quarterback Mark Gronkowski. He transfers into Iowa. The Jackrabbits into back-to-back FCS championships. That guy was freaking incredible. Whenever I watched the South Dakota State games, that guy did not quit. It didn't matter if there were 4 or 5 guys piled on him. If he hit a defensive line, it was days, he would still run. Very, very excited to see how this guy does for Iowa. It's gonna be cool watching him. But they did lose several defensive starters to the NFL, so there's a drawback. Non-conference, Albany, Iowa State, UMass. Minnesota Golden Gophers, 8-5, 5-4. Beat Virginia Tech in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Last conference title, 1967. 5-0, or I'm 5-0. 5 on offense, 4 on defense. Breaking in, redshirt freshman quarterback Drake Lindsey. It's going to be tough for them, maybe. Non-conference, Buffalo, Northwestern State, and Cal. Wisconsin Badgers, 5-7, 3-6. They were 5-2 starting off the year. Lost the last 5. Last conference title, 2012. 4 on offense, 5 on defense, kicker and a punter. New offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes comes in. Maryland transfer quarterback Billy Edwards, he comes in. 2,800 passing yards, 15 touchdowns last year for Maryland. That could really help Wisconsin. Big question is Luke Fickell, is he like Tom Herman? Luke Fickell kicked ass to Cincinnati. Tom Herman kicked ass to Houston. Tom Herman went to Texas. Luke Fickell's at Wisconsin. kind of on the same range there. This year's going to be a big year for Luke Fickell if he doesn't want to get looped into that never should have left where you were coaching thing. It's going to be a very big, very, very big year for Luke Fickell this year. Non-conference, Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee, Alabama. UCLA Bruins, 5-7, 3-6, last conference title, 1998 in the Pac-10. You know who their running back was? Their running back was their head coach, Deshaun Foster. Quarterback was Cade McNown, if I remember right. And a little tidbit also, 1998, that season, second UCLA, there's a bunch of badass games like the second or third season down Florida. UCLA was going to Miami and a couple of other ones. Though that weekend down there got canceled because of a hurricane. So they played those games. I want to say it was on Championship Saturday in December. They made up those games. Going into that, UCLA was undefeated. Everybody saying UCLA going to the national championship. All they got to do is beat Miami. Miami beat them. Kept UCLA out of the 1998 national championship game. Makes you wonder what would happen had they played that game early in the season when they weren't all beat up and when they were all fresh. So anyway, yeah. Deshaun Foster, running back on that team when the last time they won a conference title. He's the coach at UCLA. Saw him during media days. I like things he had to say. But 3 on offense, 1 on defense, coming back in the kicker. Sophomore quarterback Nico, let me see if I can say this right, Lamalavia, transfers from Tennessee after giving Tennessee an ultimatum. Tennessee said, see ya. He's at UCLA now. Defensive tackle senior Sial Tapoki, only returning defensive starter. Non-conference, Utah, UNLV, New Mexico. Michigan State Spartans, 5-7, 3-6, last conference title 2015. 4 on offense, 4 on defense, punter. Junior quarterback Adrian Childs returns. They did get better as the season went on. Didn't start off very good, but they did get better. They kind of got a weak O-line this year, but they did get some good transfers in during the off. So maybe that'll help. Defense returned some good starters. Stopped their run pretty good last season. They did. They had a pretty good run defense last year. Non-conference, Western Michigan, Boston College, Youngstown State. They do have Michigan and Penn State at home, so that can help. Maryland Terrapins, 4-8, 1-8. Last conference title, 2001. Ralph Friedgen, he was their coach. The Fridge, as they called him. 3 on offense, 1 on defense, punter. Looks like it's going to be a 3-quarterback battle from what I've read and from what Mike Locksley said at media days. One starter comes back on defense, but they did get a new defensive coordinator, Ted Monachino. They were 4-3. They were 4-3 at one point. Lost the last 5 games. Kind of a Maryland tradition the last few years. Start off good or start off strong, and then see if they can finish the season. Non-conference, FAU, Northern Illinois, Towson. Rutgers Scarlet Knights, 7-6, 4-5. Lost the Red Bull to Kansas State. Last conference title, 2012. That's right, Big East. 7 on offense coming back. Not bad, but 2 on defense, and your kicker and your punter coming back. Non-conference, Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Norfolk State. Northwestern, they got that new stadium opening up next year. 4-8, 2-7. Last conference title, year 2000. 2 on offense, 5 on defense, kicker and the punter. They did get Preston Stone from SMU, 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns last year at SMU. Also got a good wide receiver. South Dakota State's Griffin Wild, 1,100 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns. So the offense looked like it's going to be pretty good, even though they only got 2 starters coming back. D-line looks good, as do their linebackers and secondary, but we'll see how things go. Got Tulane on the schedule. Western Illinois, Law Monroe. They have Michigan and Oregon at home. The Oregon, I just don't know if that's going to help being at home. Michigan, maybe. We'll see. And then Purdue, 1-11 and 0-9. Last conference title, 2000, with Joe Tiller as coach and Drew Brees, quarterback, took them to the Rose Bowl where they lost to Washington. New head coach Barry Odom comes in from UNLV. 1 on offense, 0 on defense. Kicker comes back. Like I said, Odom did a hell of a thing over there at UNLV. Took him back-to-back winning seasons. First time in 44 years. that's happened at UNLV. See if he can do some magic there at Purdue. Ball State, Southern Illinois, Notre Dame is their non-conference. And we end with the big games. Watch for the Big Ten right off the bat. August 30th, Texas at Ohio State. September 6th, Michigan at Oklahoma. Two once good teams looking to get back on top. Also that same day, Iowa at Iowa State. That's always a good rivalry. Oklahoma State at Oregon. Illinois at Duke. All on September 6th. All right, September 13th, Wisconsin at Alabama. Rematch. September 20th, Oregon at Oregon State. Civil War, I think they call it. Good rivalry game there. Washington State, the Apple Cup. That's on that one too. And then Michigan at Nebraska. That's probably going to be a good one. Two great powerhouse programs of the past. They're going to be going at it. September 27th, Oregon goes to State College to play Penn State. October 4th, Wisconsin at Michigan. That's usually a pretty good one. November 18th, or October 18th, USC at Notre Dame. That's always a good one. USC has lost the last two to Notre Dame by double digits. October 25th, Michigan at Michigan State. That's always a good rivalry. Wisconsin plays Oregon that same time. That same day. Wisconsin, last time they played Oregon back in 2000, they beat them. Since then, when they played, Oregon is 4-0 against the Badgers. November 1st, Penn State at Ohio State. Penn State let this one get away. They let this one get away last year, losing by 7. Mistakes there at the end. They just let it get away. Same USC, same day. USC at Nebraska. Two good traditional teams. Nebraska at Penn State, November 22nd. November 28th, Iowa at Nebraska. That traditional Black Friday game. Move this game to Thanksgiving. Not everybody wants to watch pro football on Thanksgiving. Move the Iowa-Nebraska game to Thanksgiving Day. Come on, let's do it. And then November 29th, Oregon at Washington. Pure hate in that rivalry. Ohio State at Michigan. Ohio State looking to crack that losing streak. And USC at UCLA. That is it. This first show takes a while because we got other things to go over also. These next shows will be shorter. Next week, we get Big 12, two other conferences. I forget, I got the list. Anyway, like I said, it's Friday. Keep your head down. 5 o'clock will be here soon. And you can get the weekend started. Hope you have a great weekend. It's supposed to rain here all weekend. We got some tropical system out in the freaking Gulf. And that stupid crap. Anyway, have a safe weekend. We will see you next week to continue our football conference preview. Take care.